Hello fellow crafters, my name is George and this is the Spare Time G, and today I'm gonna present you the Spider-Man, my finest creation yet, and getting back to Marvel. So if you are new here, click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified once I upload other Marvel related video. This is going to be a really big challenge for me, as this is the first time I'm sculpting something not situated on the ground, and I'm using this my favorite ceramic plate for it, of course. This is a really solid steel wire as well for the base, and as you can see I have made this strange looking bases for this base, so to say, for this frame, which are going to go like this. This time the whole, about 90% of the time, I'm going to work horizontally like this, and will work on vertically only when I want to see how the statue looks, as it is much more easy to do everything like this. And I'm going to align this base like this and use the hot glue to fasten them onto it, and all these other parts of the frame are going to be simply leg bases for our statue. Here you can see the hot glue gun, which I have recently purchased, and this is my first time using this device as well. It is quite easy. You just need to insert this silicone rod into it, wait about 1 minute once it gets hot enough to be liquefied, and then hold still on the base where you want to apply. First drops, so to say, is kind of hard to do, but once you get a little like big bunch of it, it will be much easier, and then you can adjust the position before the silicone starts to getting dry. So it's not that big of a deal to move it once it is still hot, and it is quite hot as well. Be careful not to like burn your fingers. You can either use some kind of gloves, or there are some finger protecting thingies, rubber thingies, which come with the device. And using this technique, so to say, I'm applying it to the frame. Make sure that you cover the wire as well, not like the points where they are connecting to the ceramic plate, but go over the wire as well. Here is the final look of our frame. As you can see, it is quite firmly attached, and I will explain the physics of these rods. The way I made them to touch the ground once they are situated for the final posture is because they will handle the load of the weight of the sculpture, and the silicone, the hot glue part, will make sure that they won't tilt on the side and fall down. This is pretty much the best idea I came up with. Of course, I will be very happy to know what you think about this and maybe more improvements on. And of course, it's not going to be the only defense wall, so to say. I'm going to use the clay in order to cover these bumps the wire has created. If I had some kind of different technique using the frames, I might not cover the whole surface of the ceramic with the clay and only use some kind of paint to get it kind of grayish look, and then apply the clay-made bricks. But this time I have to conceal these wire bases. And at the same time, I was thinking that clay layer, as little as it is, would also help the base to be strong enough to withstand the weight of the character. And here you can see I have added the torso part as well as the hands, and the connection points are there onto the where the duct tape is located. I could not still escape from the duct tape in using them in my sculptures, of course. And you will need to use the hand, the left hand, which is grasping the wall, so to say, and that will give you another kind of structural point where you can fasten using the hot glue as well. As you can see, I have used the copper wire for that purpose instead of steel, because copper was a little bit thinner and I wanted the rod to go inside the thumb of the Spider-Man, so it will be concealed and will look much better. And at the same time, I have still created some kind of base for the hot glue to grip on to the wire. And I have done the same technique there and then covered everything up with the clay and have smoothed it up as well. You don't really need to smooth those layers that much, because the brick surface is going to still cover it and you won't be able to see the irregularities and stuff. Even small cracks that are visible will be a natural fine tick to the sculpture. Here you can see that I have cut out the clay parts there. I have forgotten that I need some kind of lever on which I'm going to add the base made from the duct tape to fasten it to some surfaces. And also I have starting the layering process using my true paper layers. Here you can see that I have added a lot of clay to the sculpture and have made the initial figure, so to say, without the head. It was quite tough to do the fingers, and I'm very happy with that. Also, you can see I have added some base of a bunch of duct tape, which are fastened there and come a little bit over it, so I have some kind of a place where I will grip it to fasten it somewhere. And of course you can see the fingers, which in my opinion really look quite dope, and it is quite concealed that there is another connection point there as well. And here is the sculpture looking as it will look once it is done, and I'm really happy with this firmness. It's not falling down and it really looks very awesome even right now. I have smoothened up the legs, the torso, as well as the hands, and at the same time have added some kind of dummy head to it. It looks really funny, but yeah, this is going to be the final bulk of the statue. It was quite hard to do the this hind leg because it is bending so crazily, and it is quite difficult to make anatomically correct or close to correct feel to it. And of course I will have to finish the right hand, the palms, and I will also add the webbing. And here is the final sculpting thingy done. I have added head as well as finished the right arm with palms and fingers. And yeah, what is left right now is to start coloring. Initially I was like debating what suit to give to him, later I saw the trailer for the PS4 version of the game, and I was really satisfied with the suit from the game. It really looked quite nice in my opinion. To be honest, I do not really like the Iron Spider because it really kind of lowers the necessity for Spider-Man to have his powers and spider sense. It really becomes some kind of Iron Man version 3.0 or something, and I'm really glad that the game do not incorporate that much of the technology for it. But of course the extra 4 limbs are awesome on that suit. But yeah, I kind of decided to make the traditional version of him. Right now I'm painting this guy up. As you can see here, I have already finished the blue applying process, and now I'm going with the red one. To be honest, it is quite difficult to paint this sculpture, as you have guessed, because of these curves and bumps it makes on these limb movements. And first of all, you will have to use some kind of tool to carve out the places, the borders between the colors. You can't see here, but I have done it initially, have used many Google reference photos and have painted or maybe carved the places where the red color was going to be. And here you can see what I have done with that carved cracks. I have used my red clay and made a nice little rods from it, and then I'm going to use them in order to apply to those cracks, make the borders much stiffer, so there won't be any kind of paint irregularities seen. And at the same time, the fact that this kind of red is much brighter than the background, the paint one, really gives this sculpture even more better look. I really like this different colored version of the suit really very much, and I was quite happy with that effect as well. And I have finished with the bordering process, and at the same time, as you can see, I have started the netting process, which is going to be a really even more difficult. The nets on the suit are really tiny, really narrow, and it is really hard to replicate them. Of course, I was not able to make them as narrow as I wanted, but I'm still happy with this result I have received. One tip I will give you is you kind of have to make the distance in between these wires vary. I mean, once the lines go over some kind of oval shape, like here on the shoulder muscle, they have to separate, and when they kind of go onto the narrower like arm sections, they have to get together, closer together. It is quite hard to do the head part, of course, as you can see. And at the same time, I will give you one more tip. You have to use the lines to go together with the motion, so to say. Here, Spider-Man is tilting his head on the right side. So this line, the top line, which goes all over his forehead, then head, and goes back to the neck, will have to turn left and then go straight again. This will mimic the motion he is doing. And also you will have to replicate the technique I have explained with the widening lines onto the head as well. And after hours and hours of sculpting, painting, applying these crazy lines, and after I have finished applying the white part as well as eyes, I'm finally done with my statue, and it really looks awesome in my opinion. It is the best, simply the best sculpture I have done yet. And there is no competition. The effect of him being onto the wall really looks awesome to me, and I'm really happy with this result. Also the web, as you can see, it is made out from 2 lines of simple steel tiny wire, and it is coated with a duct tape to give it kind of a shiny look as it is depicted into the movies and also and cartoons, of course. And yeah, it really looks quite nice. Of course, I'm very happy with the suit texture, most importantly with the white parts, especially the palms and knuckle guards, so to say. And yeah, I'm really happy with this one. And as you can see, I have used my old processor from my PC to have some kind of base on which I would lean this board against and have this proper vertical sculpture. And I really hope that you try this project as well. It is a really big challenge and really big satisfaction once you're done with it and you have this slick look you were going for. And yeah, that was it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed making it. It was a big challenge for me, and I'm really happy with the result. And we'll try to continue doing this kind of different and challenging sculptures for me, as I feel like it really helps me to grow. And yeah, have a nice day and see you next time. Goodbye.